Hello, everyone. Hello, beautiful soul. And thank you, Heather, for this amazing opportunity to share more about angels. And as I was asking what they wanted me to share with all of you today, and we just finished what we have started just maybe 2.5 weeks ago, something called Morning Reflection. And it's about energy overwhelm and what it does to you, what it can mean for you. And hello, beautiful. So, energy overwhelm. Because you're in this group, more than likely, you, beautiful soul, are an empath, or some would say a sensitive. Let's see. You could possibly even be an indigo or crystal child. I know grown up, but you know, crystal child of the universe, of the stars. And without getting too far out on the woo-woo edge here, energy overwhelm is real. We feel it. We're probably protecting yourself and still feeling some of the effects. And here in the U.S., I can't speak for other places, but here in the U.S., it seems like Thanksgiving Day, which is I think it's the third Thursday of every November or something like that, 23rd, 24th-ish, something. There's like a switch that's get turned on, and the energy just goes whoop, like from 0 to 100 million in a matter of hours. The turkey dinner is finished and people are relaxing and whatnot. And nowadays in the U.S., stores start their Thanksgiving shopping mid-afternoon. So their workers don't even get a real chance to be with their families. That's another subject. But where we're going with this is like between the day after Thanksgiving and January 1st, there's this huge upwelling or a huge rise in the tempo of energy. And it's not enough that we feel during the rest of the year, but there's extra, even if it's all positive and it smiles, which often it's not. There are traffic jams and there are all kinds of other things. And what does this possibly have to do with angels or energy overwhelm? Have you noticed a dip in your own vibration? Maybe you're more tired more often. Perhaps there are some mood swings. Not bipolar, not medical, not any of those things, but just like, oh, like 1 minute you're perfectly fine, and the next minute there might be tears, or let's see, what else? Hello, beautiful Heather. There are lethargy, you're just exhausted. I had planned to go to the gym this morning, and I woke up about the usual time, and it was like, oh my God, it wasn't just waking up tired and I'm not back in my body yet. I was literally exhausted. And I said, okay, so we have this beautiful opportunity to share with some beautiful souls. So what am I going to do? I went back to bed to rest a bit because I wanted to be here fully with you and for you, okay? That is part of the energy overwhelm. So what do you do with it? Well, there are lots of things you can do with it. You can call in the angels, of course, right? And you're all familiar with, I'm pretty sure, with Archangel Michael. You may know him better as pronounced Michael, okay? You can also call in Zachariah. I'm just getting his name now. I'm going to type it in, Zachariah. Yeah, Zachariah. Ask him to, I'll take that back. Don't ask them. It's just saying thank you for. It is a different way of asking because, as we have been learning and been told many, many times, you act as if, you speak as if it has already been done or is being done. So thank you for piercing, shoving all the energy back to others whence it came. And this isn't, there's a fine line between wishing and and projecting things to others, and just return to sender. So let me type that into, so Zachariah will help you. Yeah, okay, got it. Okay, just a second, guys. Return to sender. Return to sender, negative energy. Okay, so please never mind the typing. Thank you, Charlotte, and hello, beautiful. So, of course, Archangel Michael, and that's how I'm encouraged and told to say his name. You can say it any way you choose. And of course, he has this beautiful sword of the blue-white light, right? And can cut and remove the energy. And this is something that I say when I go to sleep at night. I start off with him. And not always, but I go through a list of about 10 or 13 different angels. I often fall asleep before I'm done, but here's how it goes. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for dissolving, removing, and cutting away all negative energies, entities, and attachments from within and around me, from my physical body, my energy bodies, and my aura. Thank you, Archangel Raphael, for wrapping your beautiful healing emerald green wings around me, restoring my body to its natural health. Thank you, Archangel Jophiel, for infusing me and putting me in your beautiful rose bubble of unconditional love. Thank you, Balthiel, for forgiveness. Thank you, Archangel Metatron, for cleansing, balancing, and aligning all my chakra energy centers. Forget who. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Ezekiel, for transformation. And so, you know, and whoever comes and whatever it is I've been working with or through, then I just add their names as they present themselves to me. Yes, return to sender. And this goes for family, friends, colleagues, people out on social media land who like to hide behind the screen, right? And their little fingers can just do all kinds of stuff, and then they're like, oh, disengage, okay? So you can disengage from them and unfollow them. You could even unfriend them, but we're so afraid people are going to not like us or be mad with us. Hello. How about taking care of yourself first? Instead of it being selfish, how about self-focused? We healers, and readers are healers, we put ourselves last if we're even on the you-know-what list. So, if you're not taking care of you, how are the angels going to pick up the slack all by themselves? It's a challenge, okay? Sharon, hey beautiful, says, love that we thank the angels as it is already done instead of asking. Yes. Now, there are times when I do ask for, I ask for help, especially with techie stuff. And here's the cool part. You don't have to know their names. How cool is it? I don't know all the names of all the angels for techie stuff, or let's see, a year ago, September, my car battery was starting to peter out, and my dad had told me years before that when it starts to get cold, and in El Paso, Texas, it does tend to get cold, even though we're in the Southwest desert and we border Mexico. Our city is between 4,000 to 5,000 in elevation, depending upon where you are in town. And it can, in September, it can start to dip. I know this sounds kind of weird, but it does. So it started to go, and I go, okay, I got it. I needed to change the battery, and I needed to change it soon because I know doesn't last too long before it goes nothing. And I did go on that day, and the wait was like 3 hours, and I said, okay, car battery angels, just get me home and get me started in the morning, and I promise that will be the first thing I do is to go to where I go and have them change the battery. It worked. But then you got to believe it when, it's like, yeah, okay, talking to the guy. Well, why not? Why are there not car battery angels? Why are there not journey angels? Why are there not techie angels, right? So when there's something I'm trying to figure out, hello, Christy, about angels or not about angels so much, or something to do, it's like, okay, techie angels, help me with this. And perhaps some of you are business owners or you give readings, and you want to develop it into a business or a bigger business or, something like that. And maybe you're writing posts on social media or copywriting, emails. And sometimes it's like, okay. And I sit there and I go, okay, guys, help. And the guys now know I mean the copywriting angels because I'm right there trying to write an email. It's like, okay, so how do I get me out of the way and allow the words and the energy to come through? I ask. Or something simple, help me with this. And when I used to be an what do you call that? Executive administrative assistant, I worked with the Border Patrol for 9.5 years. This is 7.5 years ago. And I'm really pretty much a right-brained person, very creative, very, doing this, even though I wasn't doing this then. And techie stuff, like Excel spreadsheets and those kinds of things did not come easily to me. So I would sit there and I go, okay, and I would just start doing the parts and the pieces that I knew how to do. And pretty soon, it might be an hour, might be an hour and a half, but I was always finished within the time frame that my boss gave me. Hey, TM. Military likes to shorten things, right? So Terry Marie became TM, no problem. So, hey, TM, I need XYZ and I need it in 2 hours. And I go, okay. I would take a deep breath and go, oh, holy S, like in my head. And before I knew it, I was being guided on how to plug in the numbers, and some of my colleagues, my coworkers would help me with the formulas, but I was still getting help. And I did not, honestly, being open and transparent, I think that was like 10 years ago now, I did not realize the connection I had with angels. Was I connected? Yes. I was just barely waking up 10, 15 years ago because I had shut it all off. It was too hard being different. It was too hard having no one to talk to. How does this help you with energy overwhelm? And the angels kind of take over. Heather can tell you, and I'm sure you have witnessed it or experienced it yourself. You start off with a topic they tell you, and then all of a sudden you're weaving this path, and it's like, okay, can we get back to the original part that you said you wanted me to share? So energy overwhelm. It's real. You're not crazy. You're not loco. You're not weird. Okay, although friends and family goes, she's at it again, and just smile and don't say anything. So energy overwhelm is real. It can be debilitating, meaning it can really, there's a difference between procrastination and not being able to do something. And I experienced 2 days last week, Wednesday and Thursday, where I was in an overwhelm. For me, it was soft. I did not go down the dark night of the soul rabbit hole, thankfully. I was hovering above it, okay? And it was a purging of owning my value. Energy overwhelm can show up in a lot of different ways. It can be the mood swings that we talked about. It can be sudden tears. It can be you're absolutely exhausted. You can have a headache. You can just feel like, something is just, you walk into someplace and it's like, oh my God, I've got to get out of here. I can't even go in. There is, you lose your connection or most of it, and the guidance, the answers, and the messages that you usually get clearly are just, it's like, okay, is that really coming from them? Whoever your guides are, whether they're angels, ascended masters, spirit guides, whomever, okay? When you experience it in whatever form it is for you, Like you want to be alone and like shut off the world. And for us, being alone is not a bad thing. It's like, okay, I can move about my house freely, or my apartment, or my room, right? Where the energy is safer, where the energy is cleaner, where the energy is higher, and you can just go, and you can dump it out yourself. You can light candles, you can smudge, you can light incense. Smudging and incense to me are the same, but they're different because smudging with a sage bundle is a deeper cleanse. And we recommend that at least once a month, and I incense nearly every day because people are connecting every day. And I've got my own junkolitis, right, that I get to work through. So here are some of the things that you can do to clean out the environment. You can use a singing bowl or the tingsha, you know, those little cymbal-like things that you don't need to bang very hard before they make a big sound. If you don't have a singing bowl, get out a pan or a pot and then use a wooden spoon or something and bang, not bang, bang, but, you know, bang on the bottom. Move around your house, move around your room, move the energy. You can, right, you can ground, of course. Imagine that there are roots growing from the bottom of your feet, 6 feet out, and all the way down to Mother Earth's center. You're exchanging the energy with her. And yes, she's taking or receiving the negativity, but she's also, they're giving me the word re-infuse you, so that's what I'm going to use. Re-infuse you with her healing, loving, calm energy. Another way you can do that, because maybe you're driving or you're at work, so you can't exactly stop and close your eyes, right? So go somewhere where you won't be seen, because this will look a little weird to others. You stand with your feet shoulder width apart, and you do soft bounces, not deep knee bends. But if this is your knees, you're doing like this, okay? 200. And before you go, oh my God, that's like 2 minutes. It's less than 5 minutes. And the way I keep myself a little bit straight on the numbers is every time I count to 10, I raise a finger. So 1, 2, 3, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 8, 10. And sometimes I lose count, so I do an extra 2 sets, okay, just to make sure I get to 200. What does that do? It opens up your root chakra. It helps you move energy quickly in a short amount of time. Helps clear, you know, that conscious mind ego chitter chatter. I call mine Charlie. And it opens up your root chakra, like we said, but it's also about passion, prosperity, protection, and helps to bring up some power energy. Not power over others, but power to move through whatever junky stuff you're moving through or trying to move through, okay? And then here's my favorite one. Imagine yourself in a bubble of pink or rose light, unconditional love. When I was still working the day job, I would put one of those little baby stickies and put the word pink. I wouldn't put pink bubble or rose bubble. I just put pink, or maybe I put rose, but either way I put one word. And I stuck it on the bottom of my computer screen. My coworkers already knew that I was weird. So the word pink was not out of the ordinary so much that they would ask me questions. So if I had put pink bubble, for sure I would have gotten, TM, what's that about? And so I just put the word pink, and every time I saw the word on that little sticky, it helped to re-energize, to remind this is our biggest stumbling block, right? If we could just get it to shut the hell up, right? Well, we do need it for certain things. However, when you see that pink word or the word pink, and even if you're just at home and you're working from home, put that little sticky where you can see it most often, because it will help remind you. And the more you practice, the more the conscious mind, the ego, believes it. And the more you believe it, the more benefit you will feel. In essence, in truth, once is done. see it once and it could be there forever. However, people think thoughts, they send energy, whether they realize it or not, and some of them are very good at realizing it. And you walk through stuff. You walk through other people's crappy energy. So it's a good idea to reinforce or reinfuse your bubble every day or several times during the day. When my clients practice this and they kind of look at me like, okay, whatever, it's so simple that how could it possibly do anything? Well, who said it had to be hard and difficult and take hours and oh my goodness, who has time? I don't. Did you? I'll bet you don't have an extra hour every day to do one more thing. So how about 30 seconds? How about 30 seconds? Do you have 30 seconds to close your eyes, not while driving, and take in 3 deep breaths and let them out? It's a temporary solution, but if you just take a deep breath and let it out, you calm enough, you clear enough so that you can start to hear or reconnect to your guidance at the level that you like to have. Does that mean if you're in energy overwhelm, you're not going to get anything? No. It just makes it harder for your guides, your angels, to get through because you're not hearing it. You're not feeling it. You're not seeing it. You're not sensing it. Okay, any questions by any chance? Thank you, Heather. And that was your favorite tool too, the bubble of pink light. Yeah, I learned a bubble of white light years and years and years ago until I read one of Doreen Virtue's books, and she suggested the rose light because then you're still approachable. And I went, yeah, that makes sense because the white light whoosh, cuts off, right? Now there are times you might want to use that. Be careful because then you're cutting yourself off from everything, which sometimes is kind of nice. But if you're in service, if you are working for someone else or yourself, you still need to be approachable because if all of a sudden there's this wall, and even for those who are not awakened or just barely kind of sort of, and they've just kind of sort of accepted that you're just a little bit different, but you're still okay, for them to feel this wall go up, it's like, what the hell's wrong with her? What, you know, they don't know what it is, but there's a difference, and there's this wall. And so then you become the antagonist. You become something they're not used to, and it's not about them so much as you don't want to cut yourself off, except in certain situations, because you can't do it anymore. I was at a Christmas fair Friday and Saturday, and it was until 3 o'clock on Saturday, and I absolutely had to go. I had a headache, and I couldn't channel. I couldn't take the energy anymore, and I did protect myself. But the energies were so low level that my shields couldn't absorb anymore and keep it away from me any longer. So I left. Talk about honoring what the body feels. I could have stuck it out, guys, stuck it out for another nearly 2 hours. And then I would have been out for the next day, at least. Sorry, not for $1 million. Nope. Well, maybe for $1 million. Okay, let's not get silly. But seriously, if you're not paying attention and you don't remove yourself, if you don't protect yourself, if you don't cleanse yourself more often, you're going to get overloaded. You're going to get overstuffed. And then the guidance, the messages, and the answers that you're seeking, that you're used to getting, are not going to be there. But, well, that's not true. They're always going to be there, but you're just not going to be able to tap into them. And then you start to question, because then the conscious mind, ego, chitter chatter really gets to take over. And I don't need to share with you what happens when that little bugger gets going. He just takes off, or she takes off, and before you know it, the whole world is after you and like that. So let's recap. Archangel Michael or Michael, cut cords, remove negative energies, entities, and attachments. Dissolve, so you can use the words dissolve, cut, remove, all of those. Archangel Metatron to cleanse, balance, and align all of your chakra energy centers. Archangel Jophiel for the bubble of pink or rose light. Yes, and Zachariah, and his name is in the comments there somewhere. You can have him, ask him, thank him for piercing all the negative junk that you're feeling and return to sender, okay? And sometimes I'm doing that in my office. I'm going, Zachariah, and I'm not punching you, but I'll do it sideways, but I'm punching out away from me using both of my hands, not a tight fist, but just a fist, okay? Punching out the energy to help him. It's like, Zachariah, now he knows what I mean. So you can have fun with the angels, of course, and ask them for anything. And instead of asking, thank them for XYZ. Thank you for having my back. Thank you for protecting me. Thank you for helping me with this, whatever your project is. Okay? Thanks for speaking louder. Thanks for making your messages and your guidance and answers clearer. Anything else? I think we're... unless y'all have any questions, they're done. They're done. Now I will come back round if y'all have any questions and you pop them in the comment box. I'm happy to come back round. Heather, if you have answers and you're channeling it, absolutely. So let's see. Yeah, I'm not the sole owner of all the answers. Definitely not, but I'm more than happy to answer questions. They're posted in the comments later on, or just pop by and say hello. I'll come back around as well. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, everyone, for joining us now or at some point in the future. It has been a lot of fun, and I have enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now, beautiful soul.